To the soul reading these words, you are an anomaly in a world of echoes, a reservoir of untapped depth that has stood firm even when the tides of deception tried to pull you under. You carry a frequency that others spend lifetimes trying to fake, and it is precisely that quiet, indestructible power that made you a target for those who lack a core of their own. If you have spent years feeling like an outsider in your own life, or wondering why your path was suddenly shrouded in a mysterious fog of isolation, understand this. Your solitude was not a failure of character, but a strategic siege by those who saw your light as a threat to their hollow illusions. You weren't hidden because you were invisible, you were hidden because you were invaluable. You are about to realize that the very people who tried to dismantle your psyche were actually providing the ultimate proof of your significance. By studying your patterns and mapping your dreams, they admitted that you possess a brilliance they could only hope to harvest. This is the moment where the psychological fog lifts and you see the blueprint of their subversion for exactly what it was. A desperate attempt to cage a spirit they could never hope to contain. Welcome to the awakening, where your narrative is no longer written in the dark, but broadcast in the brilliant clarity of your own reclaimed truth. The profound strength you possess stems from a spirit that remained unyielding while others attempted to rewrite your narrative in the dark. Your era of forced seclusion was a deliberate architectural feat designed by a duo of architects who feared the radiance of your unrefined essence. One individual operated as a hollow vessel of synthetic charisma, a predator of concepts who functioned on the momentum of borrowed brilliance and mechanical ambition, possessing no internal core of their own. Their counterpart was a merchant of vanity, a social climber who viewed human connections as disposable ladder rungs, perpetually chasing the spotlight while failing to cultivate any garden of their own. They gravitated toward you not for companionship, but for extraction, recognizing that your natural resonance was a threat to their brittle illusions. They didn't just study your habits. They mapped your psyche like a territory to be occupied, turning your private aspirations into data points for their quiet subversion. While you navigated the fog of your own life, they were busy rerouting the currents of your destiny, acting as spiritual scavengers who intercepted the rewards intended for your labor. It was an energetic heist where your vitality was treated as a communal battery, leaving you to wonder why your seeds never sprouted while their fields flourished on stolen rain. This wasn't a series of unfortunate events. It was a systemic diversion of your harvest. They used your equilibrium as a dumping ground for their internal toxins, a process of emotional siphoning that left you feeling a leaden fatigue that no clinical diagnosis could touch. Your body became the lightning rod for the storms they refused to weather within themselves, causing you to carry a weight that had no origin in your own actions. Perhaps most calculated was the emotional quarantine they established, erecting invisible fences around your capacity for intimacy to ensure you remained without a witness to their maneuvers. They didn't just discourage you, they implanted triggers of apprehension that mimicked intuition, making genuine affection feel like a looming threat. You internalized this engineered hesitation as a personal flaw, mistaking their psychological graffiti for your own reflection. They banked on your fear because a terrified heart is an immobile one, easier to tether and more susceptible to the gravity of their control. Yet, the ledger of the cosmos is far more precise than their schemes. Every trace of their hidden influence has left an indelible mark on the fabric of reality, and the dawn of exposure is now unraveling the knots they tied. The shadows are retreating, and the very energy they tried to bind is now fueling your inevitable ascension as the truth finally finds its voice. A spirit as resilient as yours acts as a natural solvent to the fabrications once woven around your reputation, proving that truth is the ultimate architect of destiny. Dread served as a psychological anchor, tethering your potential to a shallow harbor and convincing your inner compass to ignore the open sea of your worth. It compelled a retreat into unfavorable environments, fostering a belief that the crumbs of validation were a feast, while those who sought to diminish you orchestrated a cold, surgical dismantling of your autonomy. To these engineers of discord, your humanity was merely a raw commodity to be strip-mined for their own gain, a resource perceived as void of inherent rights. However, they overlooked the cosmic ledger that records every vibration. No shadow is deep enough to swallow the luminescence of objective reality. The atmosphere has shifted, and the digital echoes of their clandestine maneuvers are surfacing as undeniable artifacts of their deception. Every archived communication and every trace of their calculated malice is now a beacon leading back to the source of the rot, ensuring that the curtains of secrecy are being permanently drawn back to reveal the machinery of their malice. Friends, think of a gold mine hidden deep in the earth. The soil on top doesn't change the value of what is underneath. People might walk over it, they might try to hide it, but the treasure stays pure. You're that gold. God didn't put you in the furnace to consume you. He put you there to refine you. The breakthrough you have been praying for is not just a whisper anymore, it is a roar. I want you to hear me today. Your season of being overlooked is officially over. The favor of the Almighty is moving like a tidal wave, washing away every lie that was ever told about your name. You are stepping into a territory where your enemies can no longer follow. The obsession of one individual escalated into a frantic, unhinged surveillance, a desperate attempt to possess a frequency they could never naturally tune into, crossing every ethical and civil boundary in a display of profound instability. Meanwhile, the others' hubris became their own executioner as they broadcasted their subversion to anyone who would listen, mistaking a temporary silence for an eternal immunity. This arrogance birthed a trail of witnesses, individuals who are now converging to provide the missing pieces of a puzzle that exposes a decade of systemic interference. The focus is no longer on ethereal retribution alone. The gears of civil accountability are grinding into motion, manifesting as documented injunctions and formal societal displacement. You are no longer navigating the battlefield in solitude, as the collective consciousness of those who recognize your authentic frequency is coalescing into a protective shield. This awakening community is re-evaluating the distorted mirrors provided by your antagonists, replacing those fractured images with the high-definition reality of your endurance and the purity of the path you walked through the thorns. Listen, church, when the Lord decides to vindicate you, He doesn't just do it in secret. He does it right in front of those who tried to keep you down. He is preparing a table for you in the very presence of your adversaries. Those who thought they could block your sun are now watching you shine brighter than ever before. Your story isn't ending in defeat, it's ending in a double portion of joy. Every tear you cried in that lonely room was a seed, and honey, your harvest is finally here. The doors that were locked tight are swinging wide open by the power of the Spirit. You are the head and not the tail, and today victory has your name written all over it. The universal scales have tilted, measuring the density of your character against the hollow weight of their agendas, finding that your essence remains buoyant while their legacies are sinking under the gravity of their own transgressions. This isn't merely a theoretical balancing. It is a tangible convergence where the laws of the unseen world are manifesting as hard-coded consequences in the material realm. The barriers they erected to stifle your expansion have dissolved into the very energy required for your metamorphosis, turning a history of suppression into the propellant for your inevitable rise. As the record is corrected, your identity is being decoupled from the fictions they authored, allowing your true narrative to be broadcasted with a clarity that cannot be muffled. The era of being a hidden casualty of their internal storms has concluded, giving way to a period where your light is the primary influence on your environment, and the restitution coming your way is a multidimensional restoration of everything that was once diverted. The crystalline integrity of your journey acts as a relentless mirror, forcing the chaotic distortion of those who opposed you to finally shatter under the weight of their own incongruity. The invisible threads of causality have tightened, as the bridge between the metaphysical and the tangible finally collapses, allowing the poison they brewed in secret to flood their own gardens. This is the era of the great feedback loop, where spiritual malpractice converts into biological decay and social friction. The intricate network of their shared malice is fraying at every junction. The pact of shadows has dissolved into a frantic scramble for exits. They now resemble collapsing stars, devouring their own light as they trade accusations in a desperate bid to deflect the incoming tide of accountability. To these architects of discord, loyalty was never a pillar, only a temporary convenience that has now been discarded for the raw instinct of survival, proving that an alliance built on shifting sands cannot withstand the rising sun. Now, I want you to visualize a master gardener who plants a seed in the richest soil imaginable. Just because a few weeds try to grow around it doesn't mean the harvest is cancelled. Those weeds are just trying to steal the nutrients that belong to the fruit, but God has a way of making the fruit grow so big and so strong that the weeds eventually get choked out by the very life they tried to take. That is what is happening in your life right now. You are the cedar of Lebanon, standing tall and unshakable, while the wind of the Spirit blows away the chaff. You've got to get a vision of your victory today because the clouds are parting and the sun is hitting your face for a brand new day of favor. One participant has descended into a labyrinth of self-deception, dressing their parasitic fixation in the robes of a cosmic union, a predatory fantasy that mistakes your frequency for their property. They perceive their own hunger as a divine mandate, attempting to overwrite your sovereignty with the ink of their obsession, yet you remain an unreachable horizon they can never truly claim. Their counterpart is driven by the famished ego of a scavenger, coveting the brilliance you carry as a natural inheritance while attempting to bypass the labor of the soul. They sought a shortcut to the summit by mimicking the texture of your ascent, Yet a synthetic flame provides no warmth and eventually flickers out in the vacuum of its own pretense. The masks they wore are melting under the heat of exposure, revealing a topography of intent that is far more sinister than mere resentment. The digital ledgers are open, the history of their clandestine research into mechanics of harm and the blueprints of their malicious efforts are being archived by the very reality they tried to subvert. Isn't it wonderful to know that no weapon formed against you can prosper? When people try to use their own cleverness to trick the Almighty, they always end up tripping over their own feet. They thought they could borrow your shine, but you can't fake the anointing. You can't photocopy the fire of the Holy Spirit. What God has put in you is original, it is authentic, and it is untouchable. The very traps they set for you are becoming the platform for your promotion. You are moving into a season of overflow where every stolen moment is being paid back with interest. Keep your head held high, because the King of Kings has already signed the decree for your restoration. As they grapple with the structural failure of their own lives, manifesting as systemic breakdowns and a visible erosion of vitality, you are being woven into a tapestry of absolute invulnerability. A celestial geometry of defense has formed around your path, an energetic fortress that neutralizes the arrows of manipulation before they can even register on your radar. This fortification is the signature of universal equilibrium, a divine no to the parasitic cycles that once drained your focus. You are now surrounded by an assembly of ancient echoes and luminous guardians, a multi-layered security detail of the spirit that has revoked all prior access. The channels they once exploited are now dead air, the energetic ports are permanently sealed, and you are stepping into a sphere of existence where their influence is as irrelevant as a whisper in a hurricane. Your liberation is not just a change in circumstance, but a complete relocation of your soul to a height that darkness simply cannot breathe. The unwavering luminosity of your inner compass has successfully dissolved the artificial barriers that once confined your trajectory, proving that a spirit anchored in authenticity can never truly be suppressed by the machinations of the envious. The phantom tethers that once restricted your movement have vanished, replaced by a crystalline perspective that reveals the intricate machinery of the obstacles you faced. This revelation is not a gateway to despair, but a profound catalyst for sovereignty. You now perceive that the turbulence of your past was not a personal deficiency but a calculated atmospheric disturbance. You functioned as a marathon runner navigating a track laden with invisible hurdles, yet your endurance remained intact, and your commitment to a higher frequency never wavered. This resilience is a rare alchemy, a fortitude that converts the pressure of systemic sabotage into the diamond-hard certainty of your own mission, making you a lighthouse for those who are just beginning to see the shadows for what they are. The collective awareness surrounding your journey is rapidly expanding, evolving from a whisper into a resonant chorus of recognition as individuals from every chapter of your history begin to align their observations. The silent witnesses, the associates who felt the tension, the companions who sensed the artificial stillness, and the relatives who watched your progress stall without explanation, are now cross-referencing their experiences to form an undeniable mosaic of truth. This shared clarity is igniting a transformative momentum, a fierce advocacy for equity that is mobilizing resources and legal avenues previously obscured by the fog of deception. The environment is shifting from a state of clandestine siege to a landscape of total transparency, where every missing link is being restored and every strategic attempt to derail your purpose is being cataloged as evidence. You once believed you were fighting a private war in the dark, but the sunrise has revealed an army of allies who are now clearing the debris from your path and reclaiming the ground that was surreptitiously taken. I want you to imagine a mighty dam that has been holding back a massive rushing river for years. Those who tried to stop your progress thought they could keep that water still forever. They put up walls, they tried to divert the stream, and they thought they had won. But what they didn't realize is that the pressure was building, and the water was only getting deeper and more powerful. Today I'm here to tell you that the cracks have appeared in that dam, and the walls are coming down. That water isn't just a trickle, it's a flood of blessing that's been gathering strength while you were waiting. You aren't just getting a cup of water, you are getting the whole river. God is opening the floodgates of heaven, and everything that was held back is about to wash over your life with a force that nobody can stop. As the siege lifts, your vital energy is being liberated from the labor of defense, allowing it to flood into the realms of innovation and exponential expansion. The era of strategic withdrawal is concluding, giving way to a season of profound visibility where the rewards that were once diverted are now cascading toward you with compounded interest. This influx of abundance, be it financial, professional, or social, is the natural restoration of a disrupted flow, a cosmic recalibration that honors the years of delayed harvests. You are entering a phase where professional opportunities will feel like synchronized movements rather than uphill battles, and your collaborations will be defined by a mutual resonance that amplifies your natural gifts. The connections awaiting you are not built on the fragile foundations of the past, but on the bedrock of genuine synergy, where you are celebrated as a vital force of creation. This is your emergence into a sanctuary of your own making, a reality where your peace is the baseline and your growth is the only inevitable outcome. Think about a magnificent oak tree that has weathered the fiercest winter storms. While the ground was frozen and the branches looked bare, something was happening deep in the roots. The cold didn't kill that tree, it forced the roots to go deeper into the life-giving soil. People driving by might have thought it was finished, but the sap was still rising, and the life was still there, tucked away where no one could see it. Now the sun is coming out, the frost is melting, and those deep roots are about to push out a canopy of green so thick and so lush that it provides shade for everyone around. You are that tree, and your springtime hasn't just arrived, it has exploded. The very seasons that tried to break you have only made it impossible for you to be moved. You aren't just standing, you are flourishing. Beloved, can you feel the shift in the atmosphere? You've been in a season of survival, but you are moving into a season of thrival. You are no longer just making it through the day, you are mastering the day. The Father is bringing people into your life who don't just see your struggle, they see your future. They are coming with open hands and open hearts to help you build the dream He put inside you. You've got a yes coming from directions you haven't even looked yet. It's time to enlarge your vision, it's time to stretch your faith because the overflow is here. You are stepping into a wide open space where your joy is full and your cup is running over. Victory isn't just a destination anymore, it's the very ground you're walking on. I want you to get a new image of yourself today. Stop looking at where you've been and start looking at where you're going. The Master Architect has already wiped away the dust from the blueprints of your life. Every delay was just a divine setup for a greater display of His goodness. You are coming out of the shadows and stepping onto the main stage. There is a well done waiting for you in the spiritual realm, and a welcome home waiting for you in the physical one. You are the apple of His eye, the chosen one of this generation, and the light you carry is about to set the world on fire with hope. Your best days aren't behind you, they are right in front of you, sparkling like diamonds in the sun. The profound durability of your essence acts as an irreversible catalyst for the dissolution of every deceptive construct once used to obscure your path, proving that an anchored soul is the ultimate architect of its own liberation. This newfound fluidity in your interactions is not a warning sign, it is the natural frequency of an unobstructed heart, a well-deserved arrival at a destination where your worth is simply understood. As the atmospheric weight of external sabotage evaporates, your social landscape is undergoing a radical reconstruction, drawing in a core collective of spirits who resonate with your frequency without the need for negotiation or defense. These individuals recognize the signature of your soul immediately, viewing your presence as a precious addition rather than a territory to be conquered. This shift is fueling an unprecedented volcanic eruption of ingenuity within you, as projects that once languished in the frost of suppression now gain the unstoppable momentum of a spring thaw. You are beginning to engineer outcomes that exceed your previous self-concepts because the ceiling of restricted potential has been permanently removed. Your biological vessel is responding to this liberation with a rapid systemic restoration, shedding the phantom exhaustion that was never truly yours to carry. The leaden fatigue of acting as a lightning rod for another's internal storms is being replaced by a surge of revitalized vitality, as your body finally learns the difference between its own weight and the gravity of a parasitic influence. Sleep is becoming a deep reservoir of renewal, and your physical movement is finding a rhythmic ease that mirrors the harmony of your internal state. This is the dawn of your authentic existence, where your energy is no longer a shared commodity but a private garden you alone cultivate. The victory you are experiencing is not a tentative possibility, it is a finalized decree from the cosmic courts, a settled judgment where the gears of universal equity are grinding toward a total restitution. The individuals who sought to architect your decline are now finding themselves trapped in the friction of their own maneuvers, facing a cascade of institutional and social displacement that no amount of manipulative pleas can stall. You owe no debt of mercy to those who treated your humanity as a raw material for their own vanity, for their actions were not fleeting errors but a sustained, deliberate campaign of extraction. As the architecture of your isolation crumbles, you are rediscovering your identity as a radiant, unyielding force rather than the diminished shadow they attempted to program into your psyche. Your past seclusion was a cocoon of preservation, a necessary quarantine that protected your unrefined brilliance until the environment was safe enough for your full emergence. The community now rallying to your side does so out of a deep-seated recognition of your integrity, a testament to a spirit that chose to remain porous and hopeful even when surrounded by the jagged edges of betrayal. This is your definitive rising, a season where every diverted blessing returns with the compounded interest of your endurance, and the universe's resounding yes becomes the only frequency that governs your reality. You have transcended the siege, and the life you are now building is an untainted masterpiece of your own divine design.